Hey everyone, Speed Generations here, and today we're going to discuss about my whole life story. Now, before I get into this, I do want to tell you that that I'm I am recording this while I'm 17, and this will be posted once I'm 18. So yeah. Anyway, CapCut feels so much different right now. I literally have to hold the button just to record something. Anyway, so we'll just start with the year that I'm born, and so I was born on December of 2005, the 20th, and I don't really remember much then, to be honest, because, I was a baby. I can't really remember all that much. So we'll just go into how I was as a baby for a little bit, and then we'll go on to my kid years, and then teenager years, and then, from there, I might express a little bit more about my adult years once I'm 19. Maybe I'll continue this story for a part 2 or something. Anyway, so we'll just get into it. So when I was about to be born, my dad refused to take his wrestlers. I think that's what they were, because as soon as he was with me we'll get into that later, but yeah, they might have been wrestlers. I don't know. He was a collector at one point too. I'm not sure if he still is. But anyway, he refused to move that out of my new room since I was going to be born, and my mom had a bit of a fit about it. So, he was kind of just forced to move all that out, and he got a little mad about it. I mean, I'm not going to say, I don't blame him. I'm just going to say, if you're a collector like me and a whole bunch of other people, I just say move all that stuff. It's not hard, especially if you're about to have a kid. Anyway, so after that, I don't remember much as a baby. I do remember my mom mentioning something about when I was born, she rode a bike and she delivered newspaper to people, and I think I was with her in the very back, dropping off all of that stuff with her, and that was one of her first jobs when I was born, I think. I'm not too sure. So from those other baby years, I don't know. I don't remember much at all. Really at all. I'm sorry if I don't. It's just my baby years don't pop in my head, and my mom tells me them all the time. So maybe in part 2 I'll explain a lot more if I get to ever know more. So, I should know, but anyway, let's get into now my kid years, I should say. So we'll start with what I remember. So when I was a little kid, I was pretty young at that time. I think I was 5 or 6 or something. And one night my mom put me to bed, and for some reason I got scared of something in my closet. And my mom comes in because she hears me and everything. And she's like, what's going on? What's in the closet or whatever? And I said grandma for no reason. So my mom and I headed to her house, and my mom got a little bit mad, and she's like, I never did any of that. And I don't know what was wrong with me then. I seriously don't. Still to this day, I'm wondering why. Why did I say that? I could have said something else. I think it was also because at the time, from what I remember, is also when I was a baby, that I was told this from my grandma, that she took care of me most often too, when my mom had to go into work or whatever. And when I was a kid, that was the same kind of thing, except when I started to get older, that changed. But anyway, I don't remember much else, but I do remember my school years. So I used to go to Hammond Central School, and it was a really small school. If you look it up, it's like a small school. There's 2 floors, and that's it. It's not like my one I went to, or like the one is kind of just, the one I go to right now is kind of just the same as Hammond's. Anyway, for a few years I went there, and at first there was just a whole bunch of these other kids, and I didn't know how to feel and whatever, but I still became friends with them and whatever. We laughed about things, we did random things together, and I remember this one time we were outside during recess, and what happened was, we were trying to make trucks honk at us, and since we were little, and we thought literally anything in the world was hilarious, that a truck horn sounded like a fart. So as soon as we got someone to honk, we thought it was a fart. We looked back at each other and laugh about it, because we thought it was the funniest thing ever. And I went with these guys until 2nd grade. Now, 2nd grade is where I started to downfall a lot. Apparently, I didn't pass that year. I don't know. I don't exactly remember what happened. I think it was because I wasn't at my reading level to move on to 3rd grade yet. So they held me back for 1 more year to make sure I would get through it and whatever. And then that's when I meet my current friends that I talk to one still to this day. And that's where I met one of my best friends. And at first, I think I remember when I was in 2nd grade sitting down, and I think I said something hurtful to one of them. I was not sure. I can't remember what it was, but I swear I thought I said something about Beast Boy. And then he cries. I'm like, wait, no, I actually didn't mean that. I'm sorry. Well, not as a kid necessarily. As a kid, I was just kind of that asshole. So, like, you understand, a lot of younger kids can act that way or seem like they're acting that way, and it could hurt other little kids. But, yeah, anyway, I still had to apologize anyway. And just within a few school years later, I think during our 3rd grade or 4th grade year, I became friends with him. But anyway, I don't remember much in 2nd grade. Besides, excuse me, besides doing a whole bunch of, like, dances and whatever, and fun assignments and whatever else, that was just it. And, excuse me, that's the way it went. And then we go into the 3rd grade year. I remember quite a bit about this. This is when I think I got diagnosed for ADHD that year. And I had to be on pills for it. So the first pills we tried, I'll explain it like going into it more. The first pills I had, they made my blood pressure high, and I didn't know it, but my mom made sure I had it checked every day by the nurse. But because I don't know, I think it was when we went to the doctors that was first noticed and whatever. But anyway, I had to get it checked every day, and I was doing really good in school, like really good, extremely good. Like, I would pass everything. I would feel like I'm the smartest, whatever else. Like, that's what it really felt like. I felt like I was extremely smart, like smarter than what I am right now. I feel kind of dumb. But anyway, and after it raising my blood pressure way too high, my mom was like, it's time to get off this medicine, and that's unfortunately what I had to do. I mean, at that time, I was like, okay, fine, whatever, I can just move to new pills. And those pills were the current ones I have right now, but they were okay for the time being. Yes, they helped me focus. Yes, they helped me stay on topic and whatever. But at times, it still made me get a little bit off topic if, gone way off topic or something like that. And those were the problem for like the longest time. And I had those continuing on from 3rd to 6th grade. And then, so right now, during 4th grade, I didn't do half bad that year too. I goofed around a little bit more, and that's when I also met my other friend. But how I met my other best friend was he was bullying me about cars and whatever, and I was upset about it, and of course little kids would cry about it, so you would expect to hear that from me. But anyway, then he apologized, and all of a sudden I just had a trio of a friend group at that point, and whatever else. And that's the way it continued to be for a while. And okay, so I don't remember much about 5th grade besides this one thing. Like, I was doing really well in there too, but I don't remember anything else besides this one thing where I got another friend in our friend group, and basically what happened was I was really into cars at that one point. I had a channel off that too, actually. I think I forgot the name of it, but if I end up finding it, I'll link it in the comments or something. Anyway, so I told my friend to buy this one car off of the school website, and he did it, and I didn't think it would go through, because, I didn't think so. And apparently I was also being called out at the same time because I had to go to an appointment, and as soon as I was getting my stuff, getting ready to go, he got yelled at for it because they found out that he purchased that off of the computer. And I don't know what else was said because I left the class after that. I'm like, I don't want to be the one that was guilty of it. But if I could go back now, I'd be like, yeah, I made him do that. I'm sorry. Anyway, that's what I remember about 5th grade. So, also about 5th grade, the starting of the year, we were supposed to be in a different classroom, and that was end up being 6th grade. Apparently what they did was change classes. So the one that was supposed to be 6th grade was 5th grade instead, and the one that was supposed to be 5th grade is 6th grade instead. So, anyway, that next year after, in 6th grade, I wasn't doing half bad. I had a crush on a girl at that point. I told my mom too for some reason and whatever else, and it was a little embarrassing, honestly, it was. But anyway, so hold on, I'm thinking. Sorry. So yeah. Anyway, I was trying to do my best to impress her at the same time, even though I was still trying to, focus in school and whatever. And I was trying, but that effort did not pay off because she liked someone else. But then I got total crazy over her, just like, the old Amy was. And that was really weird looking back at it now. Anyway, it could have been my fault for the reason why she transitioned, but I'm sorry. I really am. I never meant to make you feel that way. I know what I did wrong now, and my kid self was pretty stupid. Anyway, off topic. Now I'm getting off topic. So, anyway, for a few years, that's what I did. And then when we went to the doctor's appointment, we were talking about the pills again. And I was like, you know what? I want to go back to my old pills that I was on 3rd grade. I would love to do that again. I would love to see all that again, everything like that. And that's what I did for the longest time. And I somehow did something nice for the whole class, because when I told my teacher that year that I passed an iReady test, I don't know if you guys remember that site, iReady, but it was like this alien creature kind of website with math and reading. But anyway, I passed those tests with it, and as a reward, we got to go outside. And they're all thanking me because I passed those tests and whatever. It's kind of funny. But I mean, hey, I did something nice for them, which is awesome. I like that. And anyway, so then we go on to the 7th grade year. It wasn't too bad, I still had all my friends at that point, whatever else. I actually got a class mixed up or something happened, and I ended up going in a class with my friends that year, the two of them that year. And so anyway, this was apparently my last year of being there. And I didn't know that until a few weeks later. But after being there for so long and whatever, I thought I was never going to go, I was at 7th grade at that point. I thought I was just going to make it out the whole year, going to make it out the whole year, the same school and everything. And my mom got tired of the way that trailer was, and we had to move eventually. And that's when she found some place where I don't like. I always told her I didn't like that place, but we're here now anyway. And that's when one day I got called out to look at the new place, the new school. And that's when I got to look at the new school, everything that was around. It was a lot huger. It had 3 floors to go up to for classes. And after that, I went back. And then the next day was getting closer and closer eventually to leaving. And I was so upset. I'm like, I don't want to go. Like, I just don't. And then on the last day, being there in our social class, one of my friends handed me this note that said, "I'll miss you." I'm like, God damn it, don't make me cry. And after that, I was gone. I was completely gone. Like, I hated it. I mean, I hated that I had to go. I really liked everybody there, and they're all my friends. It sucked having to go with having such nice people there, and now being moved to this huger school where I can get made fun of a lot. And that's what happened. As soon as I moved there in my first day there, it happened. I got made fun of a lot because I liked Sonic. And I'd only be called Sonic because of everything I was wearing or the backpack I had. I mean, I have a new backpack of it anyway. And I just wasn't fitting in and whatever. And I didn't at all, really, until 8th grade. A little bit I fit in at a time. It was slow. And then 9th grade I almost fully fit in, but still not enough to fit in. And I would always keep being made fun of, and it sucked. It sucked. If you've been bullied, you know what I mean. Like, it sucks so bad. And anyway, there was this one incident where they took the bullying of me too far, and since that one door's locked hinges wasn't on, they bursted the bathroom door up on me and watched me while I peed, and they just sat there, laughed at me, and left. And I didn't say anything to anybody because I was afraid to. I didn't know what was going to happen. And then eventually I got tired of them with one of my other friends, and I just played the Sonic Drowning music on them. And for some reason, they hated it. And then they were threatening to smash my phone. I'm like, you smash my phone, you're paying for a new one. They're like, no, we're not. Yeah, you are. And then it got to enough where I was like, because people kept coming over, and I didn't know what to say this one time, so I said I'd punch him. I know I wouldn't, because I know how much trouble I'd get into. And I just ended up telling the teacher. I know that sounds like a pussy move, but I mean, what else was I supposed to do in that situation? At that point, I was just kind of feeling uncomfortable and overwhelmed with all these thoughts, and I didn't know what else to do. So then this kid comes over when I was talking to him, like, yo, is it those kids over there? I'm like, yeah. And then he goes, okay, I wish I still had the footage to this, but this was a while back ago. I wish I had the footage. But this kid goes over and punches them. Like, seriously has a big on fight with them. Everyone has to be pulled away and everything. And eventually I tell my mom one day, and she's like, no, you're not going to school. You'll stay home for a couple of weeks, and then we'll have a meeting with the school. That's what happened. I think I stayed home from Friday to another week, and eventually the next week after, we had the meeting with them and talked about it and whatever. Everything was settled. None of that happened again, and it just kind of went back to normal. I didn't want to go back to school, but I had to. So I still did anyway. and continued off the rest of the day from there. And then once I got into ninth grade, I did not go much. And that's kind of the reason why I failed ninth grade. And then I go back again, and then I started really well, and then I flopped back over again because I missed too many days still. And that's when I decided I had enough of that school anyway, because I was already having stress issues with it, and, you know, the way they handle or take things, I'm like, I'm done with all of this. So eventually I talked to my counselor saying, you can go to this program where they have a GED, and you have to be there for 2 years to complete it. And I was like, yeah, sure, sign me up for it. I eventually ended up taking the tests for it. I passed them, and then I got into BOCES. That's what the name of it is. I'm not going to say the other one. But anyway, I got in. I started out sort of well, but I still missed a couple of days, more than that actually. Probably way more than that. And then I didn't pass that year. That's not surprising anyway. And then they wanted to see me next year, so I was like, okay. And then here we are the second year. I'm improving. I'm going literally every day unless something happens. And yeah. So what we're going to talk about now is the day that my cat died. So it was unexpected for sure. He was crying like crazy. I just thought he was going to throw up again and whatever. I wasn't too sure what was going to happen to him. So I thought he would just throw up, and apparently he died on us. So I did not leave my room for that whole day that day until later that night. And then I did not eat until almost at bedtime, because that's how upset I was that I just lost my cat. So yeah, you'd probably understand it too if you lose your best friend animal companion. Anyway, so now you're probably wondering, how did you get into Sonic? All right, let's talk about it. So how I got into Sonic the Hedgehog, it's a pretty simple answer actually, because since obviously, I know most of the characters, I played most of the games and whatever, it's pretty obvious to say that since I was born in 2005, I knew the series around 2007 or 2008. And my first introduction to it was Sonic 06 and Sonic Free Riders. At the time when I was a kid, I didn't care about the games. They were Sonic the Hedgehog, so whatever. And I also found the show Sonic X, and I really liked that show too. So that just really boosted me up to liking Sonic more. And eventually, over time, up to 2014, I think, Sonic Boom came out, and it was okay to me. It was okay. It wasn't the best show ever, but it was okay. So, yeah, to me, it was just overall. But, yeah. So after that, I kind of just forgot about Sonic for the longest time until 2019, when I started to, go back to it and whatever. And at that time, I was already late because the Jazzwares stuff was gone. And Tomy was still around for a little bit longer afterwards. And so, yeah, I only got to collect a bit of Tomy stuff that year, including the Forces pack that I got for Christmas and a couple more things, but that was it. And then, a little bit of 2020, I got some of the Tomy plushies, especially the ones I really wanted. But yeah, then after that, as soon as I started collecting the bendable figures, the first wave of Jax figures, and the second wave, after the second wave, I'm like, I miss Jazzwares, and I miss Tomy. I miss Jazzwares the most, by the way. But I've gotten so behind on them that those are worth so much now. And I feel like if I don't get caught up with like Jack specific why they're still here, I'm probably going to lose that too, and then they're going to cost a lot eventually. So that's when I decided to devote myself to be a Sonic collector. And from then on, that's what I've been throughout the whole years and whatever, all these years. And yeah, I mean, that was basically that for those years. Okay, so now we'll go into my social media plus relationships. So we'll start with social media. I know I shouldn't be talking much about relationships on here, but I'll at least explain quite a bit of things about it. So we'll just start with social media. I did not start until 2019, November of 2019. And I mostly started my Instagram account basically just from my TikTok, because I wanted more of my TikTok to launch, and I felt TikTok at that point was more fun. So I kind of just stuck with TikTok for a while. And that's what I did. I did TikTok for a while. And after that, I think in late 2020, actually, no, I did do YouTube in 2019. Okay, so actually also about the phone thing. I had the time I had my old phone, that was the Sonic and Knuckles channel. But I think I got a new phone that year, so I kind of just switched up, and it was the same Christmas of 2019. And I think it was before that, because I joined December of 2019, so I must have just saved that email from then on. Anyway, I had an old channel. I had a lot of old channels, and then after that, I got this channel, and that started in 2019. So I had this one for, I think, almost 5 years, because I think this is about to be marked the 4th year, I think. Anyway, so that's when I started that, and then in 2020, I was still more focused on TikTok than anything else, and that's where I started to meet some online people. I'm not going to say that they were that bad, but they were okay as friends. I met them all through TikTok. They were okay. They weren't the best, but, I mean, they were what I had at the time. So that was then. And in 2021, I met a new friend group. Kind of just went from there. And they were just okay as well. But then near the end of 2021 to 2022, I met a new one. And then they were toxic. I come just to realize that now, by the way. I mean, I'm like this kind person to literally anybody, and I can show kindness to anybody, but I mean, I guess it's just not repaid well. So anyway, okay, back to what I was saying. So that's basically the social media, how I started Instagram and TikTok and whatever. Those were early. I mean, I started this channel in 2019 too, but it was more in December, near my birthday. Anyway, so now we're going to talk about relationships. This is the weirdest topic or anything to really talk about, but I might as well just get it over with and say it. I had a lot of exes. The first one I've ever had was in real life, and she was just completely toxic, whatever else, and I was told this, that about her, and she can be dramatic and whatever, and then eventually after 8 months of being with her, we broke up. And, I was fine with it. I really just didn't care. So, yeah, that's how that one went, and then afterwards I just got more and more and more, and then they just all failed out and everything, and I've had so many bad ones, and I will tell you this. I was not thinking about myself or my mental health at all, and it's really drained since then from all these relationships that broken my trust, cheated on me, and everything else. So it hurt really bad, and now I'm just stepping away from them and taking a break for at least the rest of the year. and I should be probably ready in late 2024 for another. And I mean, if you guys have been in a relationship too, you could see it. You could really see it from any experience if there were past ones were like cheaters, toxic, or anything, and it sucked bad. And yeah, so yeah, that was that part, and then we'll keep going a little bit. Also, when I was young, I watched Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2012. That was actually a really good show for a while until after 2014 I forgot about it because of the horrible movie they made of it. So, and then also we never saw the second one, so that's kind of what made me forget about it too, was just after the second one. I was also told by my grandma that all those toys of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles I had, they were barely even damaged. Like, there was nothing. It felt like I wasn't even playing with them when I was. I just was probably never really rough on them. I swear I played with them. I was just never really that rough on any of it. But, anyway. So, yeah, that's that. And, I mean, here we are today. I mean, it isn't that bad, to be honest. Oh, yeah. So, I actually got one more thing, and then we'll be all set. So, how I got the rabbit. I'll explain how I got the rabbit, because, I think we at least have enough time for that to put that in the story. So, it was during summer vacation, and my friend couldn't take care of her anymore because the other rabbit that they had was always chewing on her ears and doing this and that to her, and, she didn't like it. And I was like, I feel bad, I like rabbits and whatever. I took her in, and I have her with me today. Still to this day, too. And you guys remember seeing her after that one merch hunt? And, that was the most replayed thing. If you go back to that video, that was the most replayed thing out of all of it, was Cream. She was, replayed out of all of it because you guys found her adorable. Anyway, yeah. And the cat, or the other animals, if you're wondering how I got them. I got Tails and Fluffy, because they were brothers. I got them, I don't remember when, it was on some Facebook post, and I got them just a few months after my previous cat, Bella. That was a female that passed away from rat poison in our neighbor's garbage, and I just got them a few months after, because we needed a way to relieve the pain to get over it, and my mom was like, after these cats, these are the last ones. I was like, okay. Then we got another cat, and I was like, please, Mom, and she's like, okay, fine, this is the last cat. So we got Smokey, too. Originally, that wasn't even supposed to be his name. I think I wanted to name him Sonic, but that never happened. Because I think if I named him Sonic and then eventually he died, I don't think I would see the character the same way. I already don't see the Tails character that much of the same way anymore, because it hurts. That cat resembles so much of that character. I'm not even joking. He resembles so much of him, and, anyway. We have a dog, too. Okay, so the dog we have with us right now, we got him for someone else because I felt bad for him. So we got him for someone else, and we took him anyway after. But we had another dog, and he was a small Pomeranian dog we got from my aunt, and eventually he died. And yeah, I think I remember expressing it on my community tab. I know I didn't have a picture of it, but he was a floofy dog. I still do miss him too, but I think the pain from that is already healed, along with Bella. It's going to take a while for the pain to heal for Tails, because he was my baby boy, my baby cat. He meant a lot to me, especially when we first got him when I was little. He meant a lot. That's why he was named Tails, after Sonic's best friend, because he was my special cat. And, he really loved attention, too. If you guys ever seen him, He would love the hell out of attention. He would not stop purring. He would be like a lawnmower constantly. I loved that about him. I loved everything about that cat. But yeah. So that concludes everything. I mean, if I ever end up doing anything else in my life, I will do a part 2 for you all. So yeah. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. And sorry. Also, if you see the KineMaster logo on some of these were made when I still was using KineMaster, so I apologize for the trademark or the mark of KineMaster being there. Don't worry, it's just from my old app. Anyway, but yeah, I'll definitely make a part 2 if anything else happens once I turn 18. Maybe there'll be more to express. Maybe there'll be more. And yeah, right now I'm just trying to take life chill, and my boss just texted me, the one I got the job for summer, and he wants me to help him again, so I'll be getting more money and whatever. I really love money, I'll be honest. I tried to go for McDonald's, by the way, guys, if you remember, and they have never gotten back to me yet, ever. And this is like the second week, and that's when they're supposed to approve or deny people. And I've gotten nothing, and it's like Tuesday right now, so we'll see. Anyway, like I said, that's it, guys. If you want to hear more about this, I'll definitely make a part 2 if I end up remembering literally anything else from my past, and if I remember, or if something cool pops up in the future, and then I express a part 2 with it. I mean, 18's like an adult at that point, and then you can just, it's like any other person's life. That's kind of why I was like, let's make this when I'm 18, but I'm still 17. I'm making this when I'm 17, but it'll be posted once I'm 18. Yeah, so that's really just, all. I'm sorry, I don't know what else to say right now. I'm trying to think of something, but nothing is popping up in my head, and the footage is about to end soon and everything. So I hope this exports through. I'll make sure it does, and if it does, then you'll see it on YouTube. Anyway, I forgot a few things while going into this, so let's talk about them now. So what I forgot is when I was living at this place that you see on camera that was extremely messy and whatever. By the way, blame my laziness and blame myself for not picking it up until we left. Anyway, so within a couple of months with living there, I always liked drinking milk. That was a big habit of mine because whenever my mom was pregnant for me, she had lots of milk. So that's what kind of, had me in that kind of thing, And, so, I drank a lot of it. I really did. And eventually all that dairy caught up to me at one point, and I didn't realize it until my stomach started really, really hurting, and I'd had to get sent out of school for it. And the first time we went for it, it was only a little bit stuck in there of, the stuff that's supposed to go into the toilet, the brown stuff. I'll just call it brown stuff so it doesn't sound too disgusting. Well, it still does, but I don't want to say the other word. But anyway, it's not inappropriate. But, there's another word for it that is. Anyway, my mom said that they would get a prescription thing for Miralax, and that would basically just be where I would take it I just take it, and then I would get rid of it. Then I decided not to the first time because I felt like for some reason when I got a little bit out, it felt like I was done. Okay, fine, whatever. Thought I would be fine. Nope, because within just months later, my stomach started hurting a lot worse this time. And eventually, after getting signed out of school so many times from it, we went back to them, and then my stomach was filled up 6 months worth. And I didn't know that. I'm like, okay, maybe it's nothing. Maybe I don't have to worry about it, because at first I wasn't too worried about it. And then after realizing it, how backed up I am at any day, in any second, my whole stomach could have exploded, and I could have died. And at that point, I was like, I'm this close to my death. And I was like, fine, I'll take it. I'll take it. Give me whatever. I'll take it for the 2 months straight that we were told to, and I'll do it. And that's what happened. So I took it for 2 months straight, but the first time was I had to take it for an extra 2 months because I missed 2 to 3 days of taking it, and that kind of still had me backed up just a little bit. And after I kept taking it, I felt a lot better. All that weight from it was gone. And I also realized something when I was and wasn't constipated. When I was constipated, I could fit into a 12-14 shirt with no problem. And now that I'm not constipated anymore, that 12-14 shirt literally is starting to take a toll on me now, like where it's gonna, any day I wear it now, it's just gonna rip. I don't know what day it will do that on me, but someday it will. And honestly, I'm just glad to have all that out, because if I decided no again, you probably would have never heard from me again. And that was like the saddest part too. But I did it because of many reasons, and I survived. So be lucky that I'm alive. Anyway, another thing I forgot to explain is that probably the reasons why, I'm so quiet, so energetic, or something like that. Or remember that one time in that Prime Plush keychain video, I think it was, you could see my leg in the background, like moving extremely fast. Well, that's because I was diagnosed with ADHD. I don't know exactly when I was. I don't know how old I was. I was just explained to it by my mom sometime. Don't know how. I don't know. I don't remember it. I just know I have it at this point. So, excuse me, by the way. So, yeah, I was diagnosed with it, and I've been through that way through the rest of my life. I was also, at that one point, diagnosed with asthma. So I had a puffer and all that for a while, until one day we went back to the doctors, and they told us that if I'm breathing fine and all that, I don't need it anymore. And I really don't need it. I just need an emergency one just in case, something actually happens. But as what I know is I've outgrown asthma. So I guess that's a good thing. Anyway, this other video clip I just got was only 6 minutes. I'm going to try my best to hurry up with it. So, I think that was it, actually. But I'm going to try to real quickly remember before I forget anything else, Okay. Okay, I got it now. So, I was always sneezing a lot when I was a little kid, and I never knew why. And eventually, it got to the point where I needed to see a doctor about it, and that day I found out what I was allergic to. They never explained this to me, but it was, I think, later on that I got told this. But first, we'll go over the things I did know. I was a little bit allergic to dogs. I was allergic to cats the most, and it sucked because I love cats. And I think it was dust mites. Fleas? No. Ticks. That's it. Ticks. I was allergic to ticks. Okay. So, yeah. Okay, so by the way, I do apologize if I have to use the same clips over again. I'm just running out of footage at this point. So anyway, I think there's a couple other things I want to talk about. So, okay. You guys know about TMNT. how I got into that, whatever. Well, sorta. I mean, it's pretty obvious how he got into it, but yeah, so that doesn't need explaining because obviously that started from the 2012 series. Oswald. We're going to talk about him. Okay, so not a lot of people know him. I'm going to go at least a little bit brief of history on him. I'm not going to try to sound all smart about it, but I will at least go a little bit over a brief history about it. And you're probably wondering, why are you going over a brief history of it if this is about you? Well, that will be answered after at least tell a little bit. So Walt Disney owned him at one point, and they worked with Universal. And, he did, along with iWorks. And they made a lot of shows with him, but someone hated Walt to his guts and portrayed him and sold the rights of Oswald to Universal themselves. Just a few years later, those were bought back, and Oswald shortly made it home just within that same year. So Oswald is a lucky rabbit. Back then you would see him all black and white, so there's not, much. But today you would see him a black rabbit and blue shorts. Pretty small rabbit too, by the way. And now on to what this has to do with me. I found out about him in the most weirdest way. But, I met some fans through Discord recently, at least now, because, like I said, this isn't getting uploaded to my birthday. And, I guess it's not that weird, but anyway, I found out Oswald through Friday Night Funkin'. And that was only because at the time, it was popular as heck. And I was kind of checking it out, seeing what there was. And, yeah, it was popular. That's not a joke. It was, really popular at its time. It's just dying out now, but that's how I got to know him, because I seen him in a mod, and I was like, who is this? And I'm like, no, that can't be Mickey Mouse. Mickey Mouse has ears, he's a mouse and whatever, He can't be one of the Animaniacs because he's a completely different one to all of them. So I started doing some research on him, and that's how I got to know him. And honestly, he was a pretty cool character. And if you know anything from Walt's past, he made things really good before he unfortunately passed. And that's sort of why I'm a Disney fan still to this day. It's mostly because of Walt's work. It has nothing to do with today's Disney, because now it's not that good. And yeah, I got to know Cars from there too. That's also in their part of a 100-year anniversary, so Cars is pretty cool. I just didn't really like 2 all that much. Anyway, that's how I got to know about that. So yeah, a lot of Disney history has been in my life as a kid, but Disney's just not doing so well for themselves anymore, and yeah. Anyway, this is about me, not about a failing $1 million company. So anyway, I think that might have been it, actually. I'm going to try to think this real quick before I decide, okay, we're done here. I will have to do at least a little bit of editing, though, so I can put a picture up of Oswald so you guys can see that. Anyway, also, I'm not that big of an artist kind of person. I've never shown my drawings off, by the way. I do like drawing, but I'm not the best. If you want to see one, then I'll put a picture up. So, yeah, oh my god, I forgot I put that up. I literally forgot I put this up of that frickin' video I found. Anyway, stop wasting time. So never mind, there is more. I might as well add it now, because this video is being set for premiere on November 1st. Anyway, so, I'm gonna start with one of the other stories in my life. I set this thing to... I put the picture for a little bit longer, so it's 50-something minutes right now. Anyway, I'm gonna think of it real quick, and then I'll say it. I'm also updating this because of my other cat that passed away. So, yeah. Let's actually talk about him first. So, Fluffy was his name, and we got both him and Tails when they were babies. And of course, like I think I said in this, I could not think of a name for him, and my mom came up with the name, and that became her cat. But I loved him too. But Saturday we had to travel all the way 2 hours to Syracuse to go to a vet's for him, and they eventually took him in pretty fast. Usually a vet's office takes a little bit, but they took him in really fast. I think it's especially since the way they didn't like because the doctors did say they didn't like the way he was breathing, so that could be another reason why they took him in so early. But within a few minutes later, we get called back in for him, and we're sitting there for like 6 minutes, and my mom is like, how long is this going to take us? I'm like, I don't know. And within the 6 minutes later, the 6 minutes almost felt like an eternity, let's be honest. And they come out to tell us that Fluffy has heart fluids, just like Tails did. But the only different thing from Tails that he had was also it was filling up his whole lungs. That meant he had a hard time breathing as well. A really hard time. So they had to put him on an oxygen tank thingy. And as soon as my mom heard that, she got really, really upset. She cried, I hugged her and whatever. And I mean, I felt a little upset too. I just didn't cry yet. But anyway. So a little after that, my mom had to make a quite hard decision. Either put him down and let him stop suffering, or take him back home for the 2-hour drive and let him die, like a big possibility of him dying on the way back home. And my mom was like, maybe we could just take him home at first. Maybe he'll make it until at least Monday. And so at least he can say goodbye to the other two that are with us, my mom's boyfriend and my stepbrother. And as they said, the vet's office said they could not let him go with all of that, especially with the car giving him stress and anxiety. So they couldn't let him go. They had to do what they had to do, and my mom eventually decided that we had to put him down, and we wanted to see him one last time before we got to say goodbye. And I told him what I wanted to tell him. I took my mom's keys and I waited outside for her, and I recorded this voice message on Discord to some of my friends, but I will post it up here actually and let you hear it. I left and I said goodbye. I don't know why I didn't spend any more time with him than I did. I should have. Because now this is it. This is the final time we'll ever see him. I told him I loved him and I wish he didn't do anything wrong. I'm sorry, but I can't hold it back. Why did I consider that fun? If you're wondering why I sounded a little weird when I was crying, well, my voice isn't doing great right now, and neither it was that day that he had to be put down, so my voice was a little weird, and when I cried, it was a little weird. Anyways, that's enough about him before I make you guys cry too. And I've heard a couple of you lost your animals too, so I feel sorry, but let's move on from the topic now and discuss something else in my life that happened that I forgot about. Oh yeah, how I said I was going to talk about more of my friend later. So this all started when that day I went to Target and I recorded a merch hunt there. And it was also the day I had to get the rabbit. So first what we did is finished up whatever we needed to in Watertown because my mom just got her new car. Oh yeah, I might as well explain about that too. I'll explain about it after we get about the rabbit. Okay. So, yeah, we got her from my friends after a little while, and he didn't talk to me for a little bit longer, and just a few weeks later after, I think just a day or two after Tails died, he contacted me again, and we called for a little bit, and he says he's sorry, and he'll never ignore me or ditch me or anything ever again. And of course I trusted him. We've been best friends since second grade. I mean, come on. But anyway, we're still chatting, obviously, as of right now. But anyway, now about the car. So my mom had this old white car. I think it was like a Chevy or something. I forgot what it was. And we had that for a while, and this was back when we lived at the old place where it was very disgusting and everything. And one morning, my mom wakes up, and I wake up because I hear the door, but I don't get up because I don't feel like it. And she goes to the door, wondering what's going on. I didn't even know what was going on. I didn't even know what they're talking about. I should have. Like, that wall doesn't feel like a cancel-through wall. It feels like a wall you can hear through. Surprisingly, I heard nothing. But, what happened was they're saying that they were saying, I'm sorry. And my mom was like, okay, it can't be any of the animals. It can't be the dog, and it can't be me, because I'm all still here. None of us left. Neither did the animals. She made sure of it. She knew it. She knows I don't go off alone all the time. Anyway, so she went to wake me up because... Wait, no, hold on. Sorry. My brain's messing up a little bit right now. So what happened was after that, they said, I'm sorry, but your car's been totaled. And then she's like, what? And then after a little bit after they go back downstairs, because I don't remember what else happened, she came to get me thinking I didn't get up yet. We go downstairs and look at the car. It's been screwed. Like, the whole front and back of it was done for, and it sucked because we had to use, like, a rental car for 2 weeks, and we had to switch some of them just because we had to go get another one, and then we had to use the other rental because that was the weekend of Water Safari. I'm not sure you know what that is. That's an Enchantment Forest water park. It has dry rides too, but I'll explain about that after. So we had to drive in that, which sucked because there was only so many mileages, but good thing is we made it back home, so at least the car pulled through that. Anyway, so now, oh yeah, we got a new car now. It's more of like a Jeep, so black Jeep. Anyway, now about Water Safari. So I'll start with when I was young. I think this started 6th grade. No, 4th grade. Sorry, it's 4th grade. So in 4th grade, at the end of the year, if we all did well and whatever. By the way, I was still in Hammond at this time, my old school. And if we passed and whatever, we were able to go to Water Safari. And all of us, of course, passed that year because, we did pretty well. And we all went. I think the first year I went with all 3 of my main original friends. And you'll find out later why I'm saying 3 original. But, well, I'm okay. Anyway, so we went to Water Safari, all 3. I think it was just 2 or 3 of us, because I think there's only allowed to be 2 of us per one. But I think it was because someone had an argument with someone else about it, and they couldn't do it, so I just decided to partner up with them, and the other one we partnered up with whatever, and he got upset because he wanted me to be his partner. I'm like, I'm sorry, but I know you don't want to be partners with him, so why not? Anyway, that was the first year. The second year was with my other best friend, the one I'm still talking to right now, obviously. And that's the year we went, and then that's also the year we found the big tails I have from there. It's the big Namco tails. That's where that was found. We found Sonic 2, and when we left, we realized when we got the winter lollipop for Tails, we could have gotten it for Sonic 2. And it was already too late, so we just left. But Water Safari is like really fun, but I'll explain it more to the time we went when the car had we had all this car issues. But the time that happened, we stayed at a hotel for a couple of days, and the next day we just went right there to Water Safari. So they got like these big rides, sliding down rides, double tubed. Apparently the double tubed helps you a little bit. So if you have a double tube, you can like, I think, cut in a line and whatever, which means you're able to just, go with somebody or yourself. And you can go down a ride. And, yeah. So I also introduced my stepbrother to this ride called the something Gorilla. I forgot what it was called. And that one was pretty popular. That's why it was always like, full and whatever. And I took him on it, and I even though he knew he wouldn't like it, I was like, let's just try it anyway. And he's like, okay, fine. And we try it. And he likes it. He really likes it. He really likes it besides the fact that it makes it, like, the down there in the, like, the tube thing, you're, like, spinning for a long time. And, it makes you feel like you want to throw up. And that's the worst part. But, I mean, you still managed to make it through, even though, like, I hated it. I still hated it, and I still hate it to this day. I only like the extremely fast part now. I hated all of it before, but now I just like the fast part. That was it. I don't enjoy the thing that makes you feel like you're going to puke. But they also have animatronics there. Most of them really look similar to Chuck E. Cheese, and I've seen those same ones the same years when I was younger. So, yeah, they creep me out. They still kind of do. One of them was actually staring at me when I was there. Anyway, I was also looking for Sonic while I was there, and there was obviously no luck, but we also found these 2 new rides that I actually never rode before. I mean, these were new, and I'm not sure what they were, but there was this black and white tube, or peach tube, sorry. Black and peach tube. And, the black tube, felt pretty fast, or it was really fast. It didn't have as many holes in it, so where you get your head dunked in a lot of water, it didn't have that. Like, it only had one near the end, and then the rest of it is, like, really fast, and it, like, all that. So, yeah, that was still pretty fun. And then when we went on the peach one, they had more of those open little spaces that you get your head dumped on with water. They had a whole bunch, they had, like, 3, 4, I think. Somewhere around there, and that one was a little bit slower, but still sort of fast, but I liked it. They were both pretty good. Those ended up becoming one of our favorite rides, and, oh yeah, there's another story, but first, hold on, I need to tell it before I go on to anything else. So, I pooed myself on the ride near the end, and I didn't like that. That was the first time I actually did something like that. But that was because my bladder was, not my bladder, my colon was finally wanting to push everything out, so That's why I did what I did, because now my colon was free just to take it out whenever it wanted to. So, I mean, I took the meds for 2 months, so. First, before I tell it, I want to make sure I didn't already talk about it before I decide to talk about it again. So, hold on. Yeah, I did already talk about it. So, okay, that can be put out of the way then. So, hold on, I'm trying to think of anything else, because I swear I keep missing things, and I'm like, I have to keep going back, do this. And every time I'm saying, there will be a part 2, yeah, no, not really, to be honest. Yeah, there's no need now. So, might as well put that in the comments and pin that and say, no need for a part 2. If you hear that, keep listening. Anyway, I don't know if I told my journey of eventually being a collector. If I didn't, then I'll explain it. I don't feel like going back again. I'm sorry. I'm lazy. I'm lazy today. Anyway, so what started my adventure is because I missed out on everything Jazzwares told me, and I decided I wasn't going to do that again, and boom. But, I mean, I swear I already explained that, so I don't know why I just did it again. But, anyways, I really want to say something else, but I kind of want to put that off to the side, because I don't know how it'll affect me and everything else. So, yeah. It's just about simping, obviously. So, I might explain later down the road who it is, but right now, no. I'm not going to. Because, I don't want it being weird or anything, you know? Alright, so yeah, I already talked about it. So there's that, and I have one more thing, but I don't know how it will affect my community and otherwise, so I'm just going to say it's simping for somebody. Not someone not real. I think a lot of you had this before, where you've been simping for someone fictional, so I don't know. But I won't say who it is. Either you can guess if you would like, or I'll explain it some other time, but I think it's probably just, I don't know what to do. Yeah, this is kind of just left being awkward now, to be honest. So, this fictional character is 19 years old. That's the best info I'll give you. Anyway, yeah, that's it. I'll see you all in the next one. Bye.